On February 14th, 2010, Richard Schoeck went to a remote park in Lula, Georgia to meet up with his wife, Stacy, to exchange Valentine's Day presents. Stacy had been visiting and caring for her grandparents, so Richard was planning to meet up with her later, exchange these gifts in the woods, and then he was bringing dinner that he had cooked for all of them to share and celebrate Valentine's Day. This was Stacy's idea to meet up in the woods. I don't fucking know. She wanted a little romantic getaway for the kids, I guess. They drove 2 separate cars since Stacy was coming from work or her grandparents. I saw different stories when I was researching. And Richard was coming in his truck with the dinner that he cooked. So they had 2 separate cars. The park that they were going to was known to investigators to be kind of secluded, kind of creepy at night, and just eerie. Yes, they were going at night. They were going to exchange presents in the dark. I don't know. Again, Stacy's idea. So Stacy pulls up, as she describes in the 911 call, and sees Richard's truck lights on, but she doesn't see Richard right away. Then she gets closer and she sees his door open, the driver's door, and again, she still doesn't see Richard right away until she sees a pool of blood on the ground and Richard's body lying in it. There were gunshot wounds all over his body. There were 2 shots to his abdomen, 2 shots to the face, and 1 shot to the chest. So 5 shots total. So this was overkill. And shots to the face, I feel like, is personal. So that was also like a giveaway. Like, this was not random. Like, no one just came and murdered this man on Valentine's Day. Like, this was personal. Before I go on with the story, I just want to wish you all a happy Valentine's Day, and I hope you all had a good holiday. I drew these little hearts on my face. Yeah. Anyway, obviously we are talking about a Valentine's Day murder, a murder that happened this week in history, which happened to be Valentine's Day. Sadly, terribly. I mean, there's always murders on holidays. I don't know why people are sick, but anyway, let's get into who these people are in this tragic story that occurred. So who was Richard? Richard Kevin Schoeck was born on June 25th, 1963 in Glenridge, New Jersey. So he was a Cancer. Everyone had a lot of good things to say about Richard. He just seemed like a really good person overall. Colleagues, friends, family members, even Stacy's sister, like, they all loved Richard. Like, Richard was just a very good person, it seems like, who was taken too soon, sadly. But Richard graduated from Auburn University with a degree in art. Throughout his life, he was a cub master, he was a soccer coach, and a member of the church. So he's very active in the community overall. So that's why Richard had so many friends and acquaintances. Like, so many people knew of Richard. He married Stacy in 2007, so their marriage was only 3 years old at the time of his murder. When he met Stacy, he loved her children so much, her children from a previous marriage, that he actually adopted them so that he could be their adopted father, because that's how much of a active parent he was. He wanted to be a great dad for Stacy's children, and he really treated them like they were his own. He became a stay-at-home dad for the 2 boys, and they were 8 and 12 at the time. He worked previously as a graphic designer, and at the time of his death, he just started working as a facilities manager for a medical building. This is a sad little detail. It's sad because, again, it shows you how good of a person Richard was. He actually painted one of his son's entire room Finding Nemo themed, which I wish I could see a picture of that. That sounds awesome. I love Finding Nemo. But that just goes to show you how much of a hands-on dad he was and how caring he was towards children that weren't biologically his, but he treated them like his own. He also had a passion for cooking, soccer, and motorcycling. He also was a hot air balloon enthusiast. That's what he was described as. And he was said to make friends wherever he went. Previous coworkers described him as having a contagious smile and being a true gentleman. His sister described him as a rock and said that he was always there for everyone. Whenever someone needed anyone, Richard was always there to be that shoulder to cry on for them. And he was just a very empathetic person. And Richard was 46 at the time of his death. So who the heck was Stacy? Stacy was born in Jacksonville, Florida, and moved to Georgia at 3 years old. I couldn't find an exact date of birth for her, but she was born in August 1974. By the time she met Richard, Richard was her 5th husband. She worked as a head... I'm just going to leave that there. She worked as a head administrator for a large surgical practice. Her whole life she worked in healthcare, so she made a lot of money. She was said to be the breadwinner of the couple. Like, she was pretty far along in her medical career, so she had a good career. That's all she had going for her, basically, in my opinion. So she had 2 sons that were from previous marriages, and she has been said to worked hard by her sister to provide for children. Like, she worked hard to provide for them, and she was claimed to be a devoted mother, but I don't think she was a devoted mother, but we'll get into that later. Back to Valentine's Day. What happened on Valentine's Day? So after that dramatic 911 call that we all heard, investigators came to the scene and they found tire marks in the dirt separate from the marks of Richard's truck and Stacy's car. Sorry, I'm just getting my blanket. My back hurts. And when police interview Stacy, shit just immediately gets weird. I will show you some clips of her interrogation. She's just acting weird. She immediately starts blabbing to the interrogator that she's having an affair, even though no one asked. She just started blurting it out to him. She said that she was having an affair with a man named Juan for years.
Mm-hmm. That he was already dead. There was no attempts at respirations. There was nothing.
We start getting into this thing and we start branching out and it starts coming back in a circle and it starts heading back in your direction. That's a bad situation for you to be in, and that's a bad position for you to be in. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because that is a very secluded park. That is a very remote area of our county.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you understand that we have to weigh, did a stranger do this or is it something else? And on the something else category, you got a lot going on. Do you understand? There's a lot going on in your life that starts to tip the scales away from this being a stranger. Do you understand that?
Note, she only starts bawling her eyes out when the interrogator says, "You look suspicious." So once he tells her she looks sus for this, then she starts crying. She's talking about her husband just laying there lifeless with gunshots, just all calm and chillax, and she only starts crying when he mentions that she looks sus, which speaks for itself. So her behavior was weird. Her just bringing up an affair that no one asked about was weird. And the police point out that this crime was too much of an overkill, way too personal to be random. Because she was trying to hint this was random. I don't know what happened. These people just knew that we were gonna meet up in the woods at 9 p.m. and exchange Valentines. No, first of all, nobody does that. No one's looking for that. And no one would want to kill this man. So it just makes no sense. There was no robbery, so robbery was not a motive. Nothing was taken from him. His truck was there, which robbery, if it was a robbery, take the truck. Everything was there. There was nothing missing. So this was not random. That's what the police knew immediately. And they flat out asked Stacy, does she think that this could be Juan? Is it her person, what's it called? Mistress, but he's a guy. Whatever. Is it him wanting to eliminate the competition and have Stacy all to himself? Well, they asked Juan. She said, well, it could be. I don't know, but I hope not. It could be, though. You should check into him. That's what she was kind of saying. So they meet up with Juan. He's like, honestly, I don't even like Stacy. Like, if we're going to be honest, I'm using her. She's being my sugar mama. She's paying for my car. She's letting me rent one of her properties. She's paying for my phone. Like, she was paying for everything for this man. So for her sister to say she works hard to provide for her kids and she's a loving mother, I don't know about that. If Juan was her son, she would be a loving mother to him, but Juan is not her son. She also took trips with Juan, like expensive, lavish vacations, just her and Juan. I don't know what she told her husband and her kids she was doing when she was taking these trips, but the police rule out Juan. They're like, Juan does not like her. Juan would not kill for her. Like, Juan is just using her. So they keep digging. They find Stacy's email and they're searching through her emails. And one of the emails is like a bank transaction. And it was a wire of $10,000 to a coworker named Lenitra Ross. I don't know about you, but it's not every day you're sending your coworkers $10,000. Like, that's weird. So they were immediately like, we got to speak to this lady. Because investigators are starting to think this might have been a murder for hire then, because what the heck? Lenitra said that she was giving her the money to fix her house. Again, I don't know about you. I'm not giving a coworker $10,000 for them to fix their house. Like, who has just money to throw around? Like, oh, you have a problem with your house? Here, I got this one. It's not like a restaurant bill. Like, dude, like $10,000. So, anyway, her cousin, Stacy's cousin, this was a tip that came in, told investigators that Stacy had their grandmother's car and she was tasked with selling it. She never sold it, and it just disappeared days before the murder. Where did they find it? Lenitra's house. So Lenitra gets $10,000 and grandma's car for what? This makes no sense. Come on. What now? Because she feels bad for her? Like, come on. Nobody does that. And believe it or not, the tire marks on the grandmother's car that were parked in Lenitra's house matched those mystery tire marks that were at the crime scene. Yeah. Based on phone records, they also saw that a call was placed from the crime scene to a contact in Stacy's phone called Mr. Results, which is so cringe. Like, if you're trying to make a secret contact, why are you making it so cringe? Like, it's not secret at that point if it's so cringe. Like, why didn't you just make his name Bob or some shit? Like, what the fuck? Like, come on. You're hiring someone to murder and you fucking make some weird ass cringy contact name. Okay, Stacy. And Mr. Results was, drumroll, Lenitra's husband. His real name was Reggie Ross. Or I don't know if the last name was Ross. I don't know if they had the last name. Don't quote me on that. But his name was Reggie. So the police were all set, like, closed case. These dummies got caught immediately. Like, this is what happened. They got search warrants and arrest warrants for all three of them. I think they got Reggie first and then the girls, because Reggie actually was the one that did the murder. So I guess they did it in order of who was most dangerous to least dangerous. But they got all of them. The couple played dumb. They said, I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that guy is. I don't know what you're talking about. Whereas Stacy immediately just started crying, saying, yes, I did it. She said that she hired them to murder Richard. Of course, police ask, why did you murder your husband? Why did you want to murder your husband? Why did you hire these people? I don't even want to talk about this because this really pissed me off. I was like, come the fuck on, Stacy. Like, what are you doing? She tells investigators that she hired people to kill her husband because her husband was molesting her sons. Now, as I explained to you, Richard was talked very highly about. Everybody loved Richard. He was a great parent, a much better parent than you, Stacy. And you freaking are dragging his name around like that. You had him murdered and now you're dragging his name, trying to accuse him of fucking doing that shit? Are you serious? You're trying to accuse him of molesting your sons after you fucking had him murdered. Which is not true. That is totally not true. She's just trying to be a bitch and drag his name again and again to try to save her ass. But guess what, Stacy? No one can save you. You're not being saved. Sorry. Bye. Bye. So yeah, that really pissed me off. Like, you're gonna have him murdered and now you're trying to drag his name. So Stacy eventually recanted her statement because it was complete bullshit, but she was like, yeah, I mean, never mind. So what a dumb, just stupid, like, evil monster this woman is. Like, she said that the real reason is because she didn't want to lose custody of her kids, like going through another divorce, because he had legally adopted them. Because she would have lost that. They would have definitely found out about your affair and realized that you're a bad mother, and they definitely would have gave custody to Richard. But as they should have, like, he should have filed for divorce from her a long time ago. She thought that she was smarter than everyone and better than everyone, but in reality, she was just the dumbest one of all. And she got caught, and that was that. The 3 idiots are serving life sentences without the possibility of parole. Thank God. What do you guys think? Do you think that it's fair that they all got life, even though only one person did the murder? I think it's fair, because they all made the conscious decision to murder somebody. So yeah, bye. I just think that it is so sad. So many things in this case make me so sad, because he probably had flowers for her in his truck, like a little love note, like chocolates and all kinds of shit for her, because it was Valentine's Day. And what does he get met with? The end of his life. It's just disgusting. It's just so sad. He seemed like such a nice person and such a great dad, and he just seemed like such a fun-loving, like, chill person. And to be taken for such a stupid reason, like to have his life taken just because she was so insecure about her being a terrible mom, which she was, just doesn't make sense. It's just unbelievable. It makes me really angry. Just like the trick-or-treat murders. I did it on my podcast for Halloween a long time ago. I don't have a video on YouTube. But it was another, like, sad just story like this. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, you should like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. I will be doing some sort of giveaway soon once I hit, like, maybe my 30th or 50th subscriber. If you want to be entered in that giveaway, stay tuned. I'll have more information soon, but be sure to make who you are subscribing to public so I can see and enter you. And if you subscribe and like and leave a comment, you will be entered in the giveaway for a $10 Amazon gift card. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hope you had a great holiday, and thank you for watching. Bye.